Hey, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, no matter what time it is. I hope that you, my friends, are having another amazing day. I've missed you. I feel like I've been neglecting you. I've been really getting my ass kicked. No lie, the market's been kicking my ass. And I moved, and it doesn't look like it, but I'm actually in a new office too. So very exciting for 2022. Look, today we're gonna be talking about comps, how to run comps, how to do a CMA, how to come up with some kind of market value, and talk about some adjustments that appraisers use. And I think the first thing I really wanna note is that there's generally a differential between the market value and the appraisal value. In understanding what that is and how to actually make up some of those adjustments. But really the market value is exactly what it sounds like. It's what the market value is in terms of if you put that in the MLS and you gave it a proper amount of time for marketing and you gave it good exposure and your pictures don't suck, like you're not taking MLS photos with this. Don't do that, by the way, that really drives me nuts. And you give it good exposure, right? Like what's a fair time in market? More than a day, I think more than 3 days. I think maybe like a week in this market, especially with the seller market being so hot as it is. Give it proper exposure in the market, make sure everybody gets a fair crack at it, taking some offers and bidding that up and having communication with the buyer's agents and finding out what the true market value that is. That's the market value. Now the appraised value can be, in some cases, substantially different. I've seen appraisals recently come in $75,000 low, and I've also seen appraisals come in $30,000 higher than we thought they would. So the appraisal value is, here's the weakness of it. When you have a data, an appraiser go out and look at data. Let's say that a property closed today. Today is April 19th. Let's say that that went into escrow March 19th. The market, especially if it's like a fast increasing market, like it's rapidly appreciating at 2% a month or 3% a month or whatever it is, it's old data, right? So the price in March is different than the price it would be under contract in April. But the problem is that if it closed today and the contract price was March 19th, that might be a 2% differential, right? So if it's quickly appreciating or quickly depreciating from what we saw back in 2008, 2009, 2010, where the market's literally just taking a nosedive, it's worth more today when you contracted than it will be when you close. And so that's a scary thing to think about. But so understand the weakness of the data that appraisers are forced to use. Like they have to use sold comps. You can't use active or under contract unless it's kind of a rare situation. They can make adjustments for it. But you can list a property for $10 million and it might sell for $300,000. You can list it for whatever property you want. We've actually done it. We've done a test here in this office where we actually listed a property for $1 and we got $389,000. Curtis, one of my agents, did that. And so really kind of a cool experiment. We had talked about it and we actually did it. And it drove people absolutely mad because they actually had to run the comps and find out what the thing was worth. And so that's what I'm saying. The listing price, the market price, and the appraised value are substantially different in some cases. And the market will generally tell you if you're off. So I don't want you to think of doing a CMA or doing comps as a science. It's not really numbers driven. Guys, a lot of times it's literally just, what does it feel like it should be? You'll know. You'll get into the house and you'll notice upgrades or you'll notice details that maybe add value or maybe subtract value. Maybe it's got deferred maintenance, so you can look at it from a statistical point of view and run all these statistical analysis and everything, the CMAs, all the, the web-based stuff that we see, and they're wrong or they're substantially different than what you would think they would be. And so really understand that. And the other thing you should never do is run a listing price based on dollar per square foot. And so I'll do a whole nother video on why, but just understand you can't take the average neighborhood value of $220 a square foot, multiply that by 2,000 square feet, and then come up with a listing price of $440,000. It's not going to work that way. And so when you're doing comps and you're doing CMAs and you're getting ready for a listing presentation, please prime your sellers and say, hey, look, there's generally a couple different prices. There's like the today price where you need to sell it right now, and in a seller's market, that's very easy to do, but when it's more of a balanced market, understand that the now price is probably lower than the 30-day price, is probably lower than like the 90-day price. And so I usually give my sellers kind of like a ABC option, like, hey, look, if you got to sell today, this is the price. If you got to sell tomorrow, this is the price. 30 days, 90 days, whatever it is. And understand that the time on market can actually increase the price because you're going to get more exposure, you're going to find the right buyer, and some different things like that. So some adjustments, by the way. So appraisers are going to go in and make some adjustments to your comps. And so let's say you get under contract for $400,000 and they're looking at a broad spectrum of stuff, and we'll do it live here in just a second. I'll share my screen with you. They can make adjustments for things like pool or no pool, or 4-bedroom versus a 3-bedroom, or a 3-car garage versus a 2-car garage, or a larger lot versus no lot, views versus no views. And understand also they can make adjustments based on condition. And let me give you the grades of condition. Okay, so C1 is brand new build. It's literally, the first buyer, that's a C1 condition. C2 is where you've got a recent remodel. Something's done probably in the last year or last 6 months. Very contemporary. You have updated electrical, updated plumbing, updated fixtures, updated appliances, new countertops, new cabinets, new flooring, new paint, exterior's done, landscaping looks nice. That's probably a C2. A C3 condition is getting, a little bit worse. So that might be something that was a recent remodel, or maybe a home that's about 10 years old. Maybe it was built in, 2010, but it hasn't been remodeled since. That might be a C3 condition. C4 condition is like, hey, look, you got some deferred maintenance. You got some stuff going on. Might need a new roof. Might need new plumbing. Might need new HVAC. Landscaping hasn't been done in probably a year. That'd be a C4 condition. That's probably like the lowest that we'd probably deal with being able to go retail, going on the market with something like that. So understand that. Other things that really can add value or subtract value or whatever it is. Distance to highways, location. You'd be shocked, especially here in Phoenix. I live in Phoenix at the moment. If you go north of Camelback, substantially higher prices than south of Camelback, right? And so, like just that little bit of a difference, that little bit of a location, or views of Camelback Mountain versus no view of Camelback Mountain. Little things like that can add or subtract value. Generally, solar is not going to add or subtract value. So just be aware of that. I get that question very often when I'm looking at CMAs or comps. And so just be kind of aware of that. So I think what we should do is, why don't we look at a property, I'm going to give it, let's call it a 4-bed, 2-bath, 2,000 square foot to make it easy, 2-car garage, single level home with no pool in a recent remodel, so a C2 condition, in Power Ranch. And we'll look at that and just see kind of what that comps out at. Now, I'm going to preface this. I do this in one take. I have not done this ahead of time, okay? So I'm hoping that there's enough volume inside of Power Ranch to give us some kind of statistics. I'm guessing because it's kind of a larger community that might be a good one to go to. But understand that there are some limitations here. So if you're dealing in a rural area or an area that's not really, you don't see a lot of turnover, then you might have to go a little bit further out. And so appraisers can adjust for that stuff too. And so I want you guys to think about, from an appraisal point of view, what might that look like, and start setting that setting that scenario up for your sellers now. Have that conversation now and say, hey, look, we can list it for whatever we want, we can get it under contract for whatever we want, but understand that the appraised value might substantially different from the market value. And appraisals are just that, it's an opinion of value, guys. And so don't ever murder the appraisers. It's an opinion, and everybody's entitled to their own opinion. So they do the best they can. I'm gonna share my screen with you, and we'll get right into it. Guys, in Arizona, we use something called FlexMLS. I use Matrix in Florida and Colorado and some different places. So it's all kind of the same process, and be aware of that. There are some benefits to using Matrix. I like Matrix a lot better because it's just easier for me to use. I think a lot of my followers use FlexMLS. I'm going to use that because it's a little bit more native. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to keep status of active and coming soon. I'm going to select dwelling type. We mentioned single family. Let's call this a 4-bed minimum. Let's call this a 2-bath minimum. I'm going to start setting this up. And generally on square footage, what I'm looking for is maybe plus or minus 10%. 5%, a little bit narrower range, is better, but a 10% allowance for square footage is generally okay. So if you said 2,000 square feet, that's 200 feet on each side. So I'm going to say 1,800 to 2,200 square feet. Ooh, back that up a little bit. Subdivision is going to be Power Ranch. Let's just see what comes up here. Hopefully we've got something. Hopefully we've got something. We got one result. Let's just take a look at it and see what we got. Okay, what do we got here? 4-bed, 2-bath. Okay, that's good. 29 square feet. All right, we're in the neighborhood. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back. Actually, I'm going to go back to list. I'm going to select that. I'm going to go back to edit search. And I'm going to start changing statuses here. So what I'm looking for is under contract, contingent, and pending. Hopefully we get something here. We got 3. Let's take a look and see what we got. Okay, I know for a fact that Posse Trail is in kind of a smaller subdivision here. I'm not going to use that because the lot size is small. Flamingo looks good. Stampede Drive looks good. All right, I'm going to edit search, and I'm going to go to closed. And just kind of what I said before, you're going to have to narrow that range up a lot of times you can go about 6 months out or a year out in a more stable market where we're not seeing rapid appreciation or depreciation. Right now, we're seeing a lot of rapid appreciation. I'm going to put 90 days in here just to be kind of safe. So close of escrow date, 90 days back. And let's take a look and see. All right, we got 15 results here. That's good. So let's start looking at some stuff here. So we're going to say that's a recent remodel. Let's just take a look at some of these pics and see if that is not a recent remodel. That's a refresh. And be aware of what a refresh is. A refresh is just new carpet, new paint, new flooring. A remodel is going to be new cabinets, new plumbing, new HVAC, new roof, new landscaping, things like that. I'm going to give this one here a C3 grade. It's not going to be the best. Let's look at Wild Horse Drive. This is a small lot again. I'm going to exclude that. Look at the setbacks in this. I'm actually familiar with this community here. So that setback is really, really tight. That's actually the neighbor's wall. Thunderheart Trail. Let's take a look at this. Super cute, but it's a 2-story. We'll skip that now. That's a 2-story. Don't be that guy that has one photo on there. Let's look at Shady Court. That's a C3 condition. I'm going to skip that. Stampede Drive is a 2-story. I'm going to skip that. Timberline's a 1-story. Maybe we can get lucky here. Super cute flooring. I like the herringbone pattern here. Okay, it looks like the kitchen's outdated though. Kitchen's dated. That's probably a 2007 build is my guess, 2005 to 2007 build. We're looking for a C2 condition. That was close, 2004. I'll keep that back in my mind here. Let me just, I'll select that, but I don't know. We'll figure that out. So that was Timberline. Let's look at Cloudburst Court. All right, this is cute. I'm liking where this is going. Yeah, I'm definitely going to use this as a comp. Same thing here. Cabinets are outdated, but it does look clean. It's got laminate, countertops. Those are original bathrooms. Carpet looks clean. It shows well. Landscaping is not great, but it's decent. It backs up to Greenbelt. Looks like, okay, I'll use that as a comp. Go down to Rainbow. And so what I'm doing here, guys, I'm literally just looking at condition. And so understand that, you know, I'm looking for something that's going to be a recent remodel that would probably generally fit the description of what we're looking at. And this is kind of a recent remodel. This is probably still a C3 or C2 condition. It's got some stuff going on here with the carpeting. If you notice that, you know, it's kind of piling up here. Probably needs new carpet is my guess. It's going to be, yeah, that's going to be a C3. I'm going to skip that. That one's got a pool. I'm going to skip that for now. Let's see if we can find some stuff with a decent kitchen in it. Yeah, this is decent. I'm not a huge fan of the flooring. Again, that might be a C3 condition, bordering on C2, because it looks like it does have some upgrades and some other stuff going on there. You know, they've done new cabinet hardware and they painted the cabinets. You know, landscaping's nice. I'll select that for now. Rainbow Drive. I love the Christmas tree. Cool. Again, this might be a C3. Let's take a look. Get to that kitchen. Okay, it's got a white kitchen. I mean, I'm not mad at it. Neutral tones. It looks like it's got granite countertops, stainless steel appliances, new door hardware. I'm not mad at it. Oh yeah, bathrooms are redone. Yeah, I'm going to call that probably a C2 condition. Splendid Court here. Looking at this one, super nice, super nice. Recent remodel, definitely clean. That's going to be C2 condition. And then let's look at Stallion. This is a 2-story, however. But that's also kind of in that, you know, yeah, that's nice. Floors are nice. Appliances nice. Yep. But it's kind of the outlier here. So let's take a look at the ones that we selected so far and just get a range. I'm going to sort by price and look at this. So $499. I'm probably going to exclude this. My guess is that something's going on with this property here because it seems like $100,000 too cheap. It's definitely original. It sits in a hard corner. It's 2-story. I'm going to exclude that from my results here. That's a 2-story. I'm probably going to exclude that from my results. So now we're all down to the 1-stories, and then I'm going to hit select it again, refresh that. Okay, so if we look at the range, it's actually pretty tight, 583 to 667. And if we just look at the list and look at the square footage, 1,900 to about 2,050. A very tight range there. And so you can start to see trends here. So there's kind of a, you know, I would say between 600 and 650,000. And you're going to have to use your gut, right? Because if you look at the dollar per square foot, which you should not be doing, but they're all kind of within range. They're all within 10%. And so that's a good indication you're on the right track. Guys, what I'd be doing is looking at either listing at 600, 625, or 650. Again, depends on how nice your remodel is. We saw that one on Splendor Court, which is super nice remodel. You know, that's with under cabinet lighting, really clean, light and bright. So now that we have these comps pulled up, we can see a very narrow range here. So I'm going to be pricing this thing anywhere between $600,000 and $650,000. That one in Splendor Court was a super nice remodel. You know, it's really well done. It's got the under cabinet lighting. It's very light and bright. It looks like it's got new doors, new windows, new cabinets, new countertops, new flooring. That one's dialed in. Like, that's a really, really nice remodel. I'm going to give that a C2 condition, a hard C2, and understand that that's going to be the top of the market, and maybe that other one there on Ranger Trail might be kind of the bracket on the lower end, where that was just, you know, the painted cabinets, and it's nice. I mean, it's just not over the top. It's got the granite countertops, new appliances and stuff like that. But I think that brackets that pretty well. So you're going to be between $600 and $650, obviously closer to $650 if yours is a really nice remodel. One word of advice: do not list this thing at $599, $999. That $1 difference is going to make a drastic difference in the amount of people that are going to be viewing your listing on Zillow, Redfin, Trulia, you know, all the different sites, Realtor.com. So what I need you to do is list that thing at a whole number, so 600,000, 625,000, 650,000, because when you're looking at the search menus, the bars that you can drop down and select the prices, it's always going to be between 600 and 625, 600 and 650, 600 and 700. And there's not an option to be like $599 and $650, right? So you're going to miss like the upper half of the searches, the people that are actually more qualified to, you know, purchase your listing. You're missing that by listing at $599. Always list on a whole number, unless it's like 510,000 or 610,000. Yeah, go ahead and do that, obviously, you know, or 615,000, do that, or 614,999. That won't make a difference. The difference is when you're close to 625, close to 600, close to 650. Make up that extra little gap. In $2,000 or $3,000 is not going to make a huge difference. $5,000 even when you're coming up with listing price. So just do that. The market will tell you if you're off anyway. So guys, that's it for today. Guys, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me on social media. You can, you know, hit me up on the IGs. I'm very good about DMs. Please take 2 seconds to like and subscribe. That's really the only cost of tuition today. So thank you for tuning in. I genuinely appreciate you, and hope to see you back here very, very soon. Thanks.